All right, looks like we're live now. Just gonna wait for some people to come in, and what we're gonna do here is just do a live lineup build for the Millie Maker. So just waiting on people, and then I'll try to watch the chat and see if some people get in here. If you guys are in and you can hear me, just type something in the chat. Just type hey or something. What's going on, Don? We got Michael in here, Carmelo Dog. All right, so it looks like people can hear me. So what we're gonna do right now is just kind of build a Millie Maker lineup, and I'm gonna try to be a little bit contrarian with this lineup. I want to go with some different picks. I think I have a pretty good feel of who's gonna be high owned. What's up, guys? All right, so we're gonna try to build a lineup together here. If you guys have any good contrarian quarterbacks, let me know. So I think the higher owned quarterbacks are going to be some of the cheaper guys. Tyrod Taylor is projected to be pretty high owned. But I'm looking for quarterbacks in good spots that have pretty high team totals or implied team totals. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Someone said Kaepernick. I like that. I would do maybe a naked cap, or I'd throw cap with either. I think for Kaepernick, I'd go either Patton or Curly. Let's start off. We got some other suggestions. Eli, Flacco. I like Flacco. I think Eli. They're in a game with a low total, so I don't really like Eli. But you never know. He could have a good game. Someone said Carr. I think Carr is going to be somewhat popular, but he is a good play. Palmer. Yeah, I like Palmer. I think Ty God's going to be one of the more popular quarterbacks. So we'll go with, someone said Rivers too, who I think is a good quarterback, but I think he'll be higher owned. We'll go with Kaepernick, just for the reason that they're most likely going to be trailing. He might have to run quite a bit at least in the second half to catch up. I could see him scrambling around a lot. So I wouldn't mind going naked cap, or we could go with, let's filter out San Fran here. We could go with Curly or Patton. So we'll take a look at Jeremy Curley. If we look at his game log here, not too many big games. Couple earlier in the season when Kaepernick wasn't at quarterback. So I don't know if you guys like Curley, or we got Quentin Patton. You can see here again, not too many big games. What do you guys think? You guys want to go with one of those two guys, or do you think we should go naked cap and just hope that he runs for maybe 80 yards and a touchdown or something? Let me know in the chat. Yeah, I don't think he would get benched. I think they'll stick with him. You never know, depending if he plays bad. Yeah, naked cap. All right, you guys want naked cap? Let's stick with that. Hopefully he rushes. He could rush for 100 yards again against Atlanta. I could see him scrambling quite a bit, and he's on the turf there in Atlanta. Could see him getting a 100-yard game. Obviously, not a great chance of that, but it could happen. So we'll go naked cap. Next, we'll look at least one running back here. So again, it's pretty obvious that these three expensive running backs are going to be very highly owned. I think they're all great plays, so I'm not too worried about ownership. So we could throw one of them in there maybe, or we could go down to another level here. So another running back that I didn't really talk about at all this week that I kind of am starting to like with the weather in Chicago is Jordan Howard. And same thing goes with Spencer Ware. Those are two guys. They're playing in cold weather games, and it's going to be probably bad weather for the quarterbacks to really do much. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of these two games or one of these two running backs or both of them had big games. So do you guys like Howard or Ware? I think they're both going to be pretty low owned. Someone said McCoy, Hyde and McCoy, Coleman, Shady getting busy. Why not pair him with Hyde? Yeah, we could do Kaepernick and Hyde. Hyde doesn't catch the ball too much. Let's take a look. But again, they both could have big games on the ground. He's only been targeted. He got targeted 6 times in this game. But usually when I'm pairing a quarterback with a running back, most of the time it's in games where I either think they're going to score a lot of points, or it's a running back who catches a lot of passes. So let's stay away from Hyde for this one, just because I do have him in quite a few other lineups that don't have Kaepernick. So this one will go naked cap. We'll probably take someone from the other side of the ball. But for running back, I'm going to go with either Howard or Ware here, two guys that I don't have too much exposure to, so I want to get one more lineup with one of the two in there. If you guys have a suggestion, let me know. I'm open to both those guys. No one's liking that. Okay, we got Howard. All right, so we'll go Howard. No one seems too happy with that pick, but this is a contrarian lineup. These are guys that I probably won't have too much exposure to, but I want to get them in this lineup here. Try to go contrarian, and maybe if everyone else goes with the higher priced running backs, maybe this one will work out with Howard and someone else. So we can go cheap. We can go a bit cheaper at running back for our second pick, or we could go with one of the high guys, one of the top three guys. I think these guys are all going to have big games, so I'm pretty open to playing any of them. Yeah, someone said contrarian doesn't mean it has to be bad. Yeah, I don't think Jordan Howard's a bad pick at all. But I know what you mean. You don't have to go fully contrarian. We can go contrarian in a couple spots. But any of the players I put in this lineup, I think, are going to be decent plays. I'm not just going to play someone just because they're contrarian. Everyone's saying Bell. Okay, I love Bell this week, so we'll go Bell. And that leaves us with 4,700 here for the other spots. So I'm just going to throw in a defense here just so we can get a good average. So let's just go we can't go Packers. Let's just throw in Ravens D here, someone right in the middle. We can change that up at the end. I just want to see what I'm working with for the average remaining per player. So next we're going to go receiver. I kind of want to go on the other side of the ball here in San Fran. So maybe an Atlanta player here. Let's see the receivers. So we can go Gabriel, who I really like, Sanu, who I kind of like. I don't have too much exposure to yet, so I wouldn't mind putting him in this lineup. Or we could go Aldrick Robinson. Or in the flex spot, we could go with someone like Freeman or Tevin Coleman. Someone said Sanu. Someone said Aldrick Robinson, Gabriel. Someone said Freeman, Coleman, Sanu. All right, so I'm getting a good mix. So I'm going to go with Sanu. Let's take a look at his game log. So he's coming off an injury, but he has had some big games in the past. And with Julio out, I think he could have a big game. I don't have enough exposure to him yet, so I'll throw Sanu in this lineup. He's a pretty good price, a little cheaper than Gabriel. All right, moving on. Next wide receiver. Let's try to look for someone in the 4 to 5K range. We got Marquise Lee here. I like quite a bit. Will Fuller, I think, could have a good game. I kind of like the Jags D, but I think Fuller is due for a breakout at some point. Allen Robinson's very cheap. We got Malcolm Mitchell, who can always break out for a big game. He's in a really tough matchup, but he's been balling out lately. We got some comments here. Mike Evans, Mike Wallace, Watkins, J.J. Nelson, Mike Wallace. So Robinson, Thielen, J.J. Nelson. We got lots of suggestions here. Someone, I think we had, let me scroll up here. We had two. I'm just trying to see if we have a popular pick here. All over the board a little bit, but someone said, we had two people that said Mike Wallace. A couple more suggestions. Yeah, so we have three people that say Mike Wallace. So let's go with Mike Wallace. I don't have too much exposure to him yet, so that's good to get him in another lineup. Let's look at a tight end pick right now. So there's lots of tight ends. I think there's lots of pretty good tight ends this week. You got Kelsey up top. Zach Ertz might be a little lower owned. I don't mind him. I like Rudolph quite a bit. I like Gates quite a bit. I think Walker is pretty cheap for how much he's used in that passing game. I like Ladarius Green again this week. Hunter Henry could be a sneaky touchdown candidate. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. We got Kelsey, Griffin, Green, Brait, Gresham, Brait, Doyle, Green, Ebron. So it looks like we got a couple suggestions for Green. I like that play. I think Ladarius could have a good game here against Cincy. We'll throw him in there and see what happens. Someone said Eifert is a better play than Kelsey this week. I don't know if I agree with that, but I think Eifert is a little bit underrated. He's a solid tight end. Look at his game log since he's been back from an injury. He's been pretty solid. So I think he could have a good game as well. We'll stick with Green there. So wide receiver, we got about 6,000 left. So right now we can pretty much go with any. We've got just under 12,000 total left. So we can pretty much go with any wide receiver. Might want to stay away from Brown. Yeah, we'll stay away from Brown because we do have Bell and Green in the same lineup. Let's see what you guys are suggesting here. Watkins, Griffin, Odell. I like Watkins quite a bit against Cleveland. I don't have enough of him yet, I don't think. Someone said Evans, Tyrell the Gazelle. Someone else says Evans. If we put in Evans, it would only leave us with 3,600. So let's go a little more balanced. I think someone mentioned, let's see. Yeah, Watkins. We'll go with Watkins. So that leaves us with 6,000 for the flex. And again, we can change up our defense here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the defense. I know we have about 6,000 to work with. We could use a little more if we needed to, or a little less. So we're right about in this range, and we can go down further. Let me scroll down and see these comments here. Tyreek the Freak, Hyde, Hilton, Adams, Giants D, Hilton. Sammy's ruled out. Sammy Watkins isn't ruled out, is he? Sammy's out? No way. Sammy's not ruled out, is he? Or is that just one person saying that? Yeah, Sammy should be in. A lot of people are saying Diggs. I like Diggs quite a bit. So let's go with Diggs here. Yeah, we'll go with Diggs. And that leaves you with 2,000 for a defense. And from there, I'm going to I'll pick a defense on my own. Obviously, I don't want to share this Millie Maker lineup with everyone. So if you guys are using this lineup at all, you guys pick your own defense. I'll submit this after I end the video. I'm just going to pick a random defense up here that I like under 3K. So that's the lineup there. Hopefully that wins a milli. We'll see how it does. But I like pretty much all the players in this lineup. Kaepernick, I think, could have a decent game for his price. I think they'll be trailing. He might have to force some throws downfield, and that could work out for him. And he could run the ball quite a bit. Jordan Howard, I think, could have a big game against Green Bay. I think they could be running a ton. We saw that game against San Fran where Howard ran, I think it was like 30 times in the cold weather. Le'Veon Bell's a beast. Sanu with Julio Jones out looks pretty good. Mike Wallace is always capable of scoring a long touchdown. Watkins, number one receiver against Cleveland. Good spot. Green has been getting a ton of looks since he's been back. And Diggs is a guy I like to take pretty much every week, and he's in a good matchup. So we're at 12:15 now, 45 minutes to kick off. Answer a couple questions here in the chat. So do you think defense is key this week? I think defense is key pretty much every week. It's just so tough to find the defense that scores 20 points. But if you had the Falcons last week, you would have been set. But it's kind of tough to predict those big scores from a defense. Just try to find defenses that are in good spots. Why didn't you stack a receiver with Cap? I don't think there's many good options to stack with Cap. So Kaepernick's basically one of the only quarterbacks I would do a naked stack with, or no naked quarterback would be Kaepernick, maybe Ty God, guys who could run potentially for 1 or 2 touchdowns and like 80 plus yards. Other than that, I usually always throw a receiver with a quarterback, but I don't think there's many options for Kaepernick. Do you pay up at wide receiver or running back today? I think running back is the more obvious answer, and I think that's what most people will be doing, but that's probably what I'll be doing for most of my lineups. I've got at least one of the elite running backs in, sometimes 2. I didn't look at kickers. I'm not playing FanDuel this week. Weather concerns. Basically, from what I've seen, I've gotten off of Green Bay and Chicago passing games quite a bit. Kansas City looks like it's going to be um, pretty cold, not as windy as Chicago, but those are two games that I've kind of gotten off some of the receivers. I've kind of stayed away from Rodgers, who I originally liked quite a bit at the beginning of the week. Green Beckham, not someone I've looked at this week. I don't think I have him in any lineups. How important is it to have Le'Veon Bell in your lineup? I don't think it's too important. I think he could have a monster game. I think he's in a great spot, but I think if you look at the running backs, you could make a case for David Johnson, just $300 more. You could make a case for LaShawn McCoy at almost $1,000 less. And then you could also make a case to go with like Freeman or Howard, who I have in the $6,000 range, or Carlos Hyde. So I don't think it's important to have Bell. I think he's a good play, but I think you can make a really good lineup without him as well. You manage to jam Bell and DJ in 25% of lineups. Wide receiver will not be impactful this weekend due to weather. Yeah, I think this is the week. This is one of the best weeks for running back. So I think paying up for maybe one running back, sometimes even two running backs, will work out quite well this week. I think I'd be really surprised if the winning lineup for the Millie Maker didn't have either Johnson, McCoy, or Bell. But you never know. It could happen. My lock of the week, as far as betting wise, I'm guessing you're talking about. I'd say my favorite betting pick for today is probably the Vikings at home. I think they'll have a big game at home against Indy. Mike Evans should be low owned. Yeah, Mike Evans is a play I like quite a bit. His ownership shouldn't be too high. A lot of people are going to be on the expense of running back. So I think Brown and Evans. I think most people will have Brown, Evans, or maybe Odell in their lineup. They're not going to want to fade the top receivers completely, but I think Evans and Brown are my favorite plays out of those two. Who's my lock at QB? Check the Sports Geek channel. I did my week 15 pick. So my top exposure this week will be Matt Ryan. Patriots defense against the struggling Broncos offense. I think there's better defenses out there personally, but I'm never against defenses like that with a game that has a low total and they're favored. So I wouldn't mind the Patriots D. How much can you trust Adrian Peterson? I wouldn't trust him at all today. I didn't even check his price, but coming off an injury like that, he might get a majority of the snaps. But first of all, the Vikings line isn't that good. And there's two other running backs active, so I think he could be splitting the snaps. But you never know. He could break one for a long touchdown or something. So I wouldn't trust him too much, but I think he could make a decent GPP play. I won't have him at all, though. My best value play at wide receiver. My video had a couple guys, Gabriel and Hill, that are in the 5K range. Under that, I would say I think I had JJ Nelson in my video as well. Like him quite a bit. Marquise Lee I like quite a bit. I don't mind Fuller and Coleman. So those are some value players that I'm looking at wide receiver. I don't love too many of the people below 4K. Too many of the receivers here. With Slay on Cooper, what do you think of Crabtree? I think you mean Hayward on Cooper. I think Crabtree's a good play this week. Would you stack Matt Ryan with Coleman and Freeman, or Sanu or Gabriel? I think there's lots of different stacks you can do with Matt Ryan. I think there's lots of fantasy points to go around there. So I think you could do a stack with a running back and a receiver with Matt Ryan this week. Yeah, Aldrick Robinson could be a good play. Eagles get beat by speedy receivers. Yeah, Mike Wallace could have a big game. We've got him in this lineup here. So I'm going to sign off, guys. I got to do some tweaking to my lineups, make sure my exposures are where I want them. Good luck to you guys. Hopefully you guys make some money this week, and hopefully this lineup does well if any of you guys use it. Just make sure you throw in a defense here. I'll probably be going with either, Steelers, Jaguars, Bears, Bucks, maybe the Eagles. No, we can't go Eagles. We got Wallace in there. So probably one of those defenses, and then I'll throw it in the Millie Maker. So I'll let you guys know how it does. All right, good luck, guys. Talk to you guys later.